Well, hey guys, today is day 9 of SSSVEDA, vlogging every day in April. I apologize for the look here today. My wife calls this the Rambo look. I just call it the I work from home and have not showered yet today look. But today we're talking about volunteer activities. And man, when I saw this on the calendar last week, I was like, oh man, I don't do anything for anybody. But I have done a few things for some organizations. In the past, recently here about 4 years ago, I was on a board for the Coastal Georgia Greenway Committee, and so that was an organization that is part of a bigger group, which is the East Coast Greenway, which is getting a path to go through the entire eastern seaboard from Florida. I forget how far up it goes, but we were the portion in Georgia, 6 counties in Georgia, of a path, whether it be trails or a good portion of it's using existing roadways that are safe for a walking, hiking, bicycling path to get along the whole entire eastern seaboard. So that's one volunteer duty I was part of. I've done some stuff with our local coastal brine tree, something or another, I forget what they're called. Some Arbor Day plantings or stuff, volunteered to go out and plant trees and things like that. Another cool one I've done, got to admit some of it was for selfish reasons, but it was a very cool thing to be a part of. If you've ever watched the Food Network, I was on a couple of episodes of Restaurant Impossible with Robert Irvine. He actually has a couple of restaurants here near Savannah. We don't just have Paula Deen here in Savannah, we do have Robert Irvine. But kind of know him, and so I got to be on a couple of his shows. So it was kind of cool to be on TV and be a part of that. You probably did not see me. I didn't look like this, but you would not have recognized me most likely in either episode that I was in. But it's pretty cool to be a part of that because in all of the situations, if you've ever watched that show, it's always a struggling, usually family. They're always small family businesses, I think, and they're always struggling at their wits' end with whatever problems they have in their restaurant. Robert comes in and kind of tries to whip them in shape the best he can in less than 2 days and very little money involved. But there's a lot of volunteer work, involved in there. They usually run an ad on Craigslist for many, many weeks ahead of time to get as many people that come in. Even if you don't know how to do anything but slap some paint on a cabinet or something, they need help for those. But I got to do some pretty cool things in Florida and Georgia with those TV shows, and it helped the families out in both cases. So that was a pretty cool thing to be a part of. And then probably the one again, I'm going to defer to the running thing, but I've done quite a few runs where they are for charity of some kind. This was one I did last year. But they're almost always to raise money for something, especially the 5Ks are very popular. Most of them are to benefit something or somebody. I'm not doing the one this weekend, but the Susan G. Komen Race for the Cure is this weekend. Locally, we call that the Booby Run because it's for the Susan G. Komen breast cancer awareness and all that. But so that's kind of typical of most of the 5Ks. But even the bigger races are to benefit something, even if it's a big company, like I've done the Rock and Roll marathons and Run Disney marathons. Even though it's a big corporation putting it on, they're always to benefit some, charity or organization. And that's pretty much it for the volunteer activities. Again, I feel like I don't do enough, and probably everybody does. And you could do more, and you make up excuses as to why you can't, and you're too busy in the work and the family and all that. But you can probably think of something you've done for somebody, even if it's small. And I mentioned Robert Irvine before. If you follow him on Twitter, most of you guys I know are probably on social media. Watch him on Sunday. Every Sunday he's putting out a good message to do good for somebody, even if it's just being nice to them, a smile. Paying for somebody's lunch or picking up their groceries if you're behind them and they're a little short on cash or whatever. He's big on that and has a big heart for that. So that's where I'm going to leave it until tomorrow. There's a couple of cool topics I think coming up. I can never remember them. Guilty pleasures tomorrow. We're going to have to admit some cool things probably on there. So I look forward to seeing y'all's, I'm a southerner, y'all's videos on your guilty pleasures. But there's several cool ones coming up here in the next few days. So tune in and see what our guilty pleasures are tomorrow.